can find anywhere else because it's a prototype.
On May 10, 1945, German forces rolled over the Belgian frontier and World War II in Europe properly started. All the countries had been busy building fortresses, forts to protect their borders and major towns for the previous 50 years, and in Belgium the Germans hit a string of forts that now stood in their way.
This is the entrance.
And this is the only entrance?
A bit like Aubin, you've got a block P.
Yeah.
And you've got a block O with a secret exit. Hello! We arrived!
No problem. You have it
How are you? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Slightly different design, but again, you've got your heavy machine gun to cover the gateway.
And again, there's been firing from the inside and out, definitely.
And you've got bullet strikes on the inside of the gate as well.
Last time we visited Fort Aubin, which is one of the supporting forts, and we heard from the battle log of that fort how all of these forts were mutually supporting each other and the course of the battle, how they fought until the very end, and some of them, as the one we're going to visit today, until one day after the armistice had been signed. But this is a very special fort. Besides it being the supporting fort of Fortress Aubin, it is complete. Nothing here was removed during or after the war, as the soldiers here kept it safe afterwards from looting scrappers. So today we're going 85 years back in time, and that is an amazing journey in itself. The entrances to these forts were much the same layout. You had a huge bunker that was fortified, searchlights and machine guns, surrounded by a ditch that was also fortified and protected, and a small narrow walkway leading up to it, throughout which you could fire a whole lot of bullets in order to keep your entrance protected, and had large camouflage netting hanging and hooked up the hooks to break up the outline for aerial attack.
Yeah, this is the original sliding floor.
Okay, so it was wood. I thought it was slab.
No, wood.
Oh. And this is what it looks like if nobody thrown grenades on it.
Yeah, if it hasn't been destroyed. And I think it might even be movable.
When you don't need it. Here you have the protection with 7 centimeters of steel.
So this would flip the searchlight up.
Yeah. Well, it turns it around.
Turns it around.
It turns it around because you've got one face is armoured.
That is what pointing outside. Hang on.
So now the light is outside.
Yeah, the light is outside.
And now the armour's outside.
That's really cool.
Air raid, warning, all clear, gas, that kind of thing.
That you can actually read and signal. And I see you have a bucket for ammunition. Just like the National line would collect munition, but the Germans never did that in theirs.
And you've got this nifty device on there because you have 2 barrels. So an experienced soldier could basically, if the gun jammed, instead of panicking, you pull the levers, spin it, you've got the second barrel in place, and you reconnect the water and the ammunition feed, and you're back in action. The engineers come, take away the jammed barrel, jammed gun, replace it, and then you're back to 2 again.
And here you have the inside of the machine gun cupola.
See, was it all bad?
You could go inside.
It was blocked off. Oh, yes. But you just got the ladder straight up there. And the machine gun ammunition's got to be dragged up there as well, no fancy lifts.
Here's the little dome up here.
If you do go higher, put your feet where the metal beams are. Not on the wood.
Oh, I see it. I know.
Yes, this one, the 24.
Oh, it's a light one. But at Aubin, you had these, and they managed to rip all this metalwork out.
So down here we have the original floor and the original gun mount of a cupola that took how many hits? This thing was fired at a lot. And there's nothing on the inside where you can tell.
Yeah, you've got bullet stripes on the outside, you can see.
Lots on the outside, but nothing in here at all. There's a periscope, I take it?
Yep.
Yep. I don't feel cramped in here. This got plenty of room. I somehow always loved these dome designs. So all the ammunition had to be carried up here manually.
Yep.
And it wasn't rotating. This is a serious door.
Yeah, it's an armor door, 500 kilo, an half ton.
That is a very serious door. And another serious door.
With me in the way.
With you in the way.
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You don't see a lot of these just sitting around in hallways for calibrating the fuses. This is for the 75 millimeter.
And here we are going down the dark again. And we've seen this 30 meters down. 27 meters down. Well, that makes the whole difference when we walk back up again.
Yeah, 3 meters difference. Another slight difference is your explosive traps are not light on the bottom.
They're here.
One's sort of light iron. But when you get to the doors, have a look to the left, where you've got the fan in place, all the electrical boxes.
Oh, yes. So
That's what it would look like.
For the overpressure inside the combat block.
And using the original electrical switches for lighting the fort even now.
Really?
Yep.
These.
The telephonic line.
So these are the original.
Yes.
It's so nice to see that it's still here, considering how much have disappeared over the years.
And a part of it are still electricity. Because we still use the original electricity line from 1940.
That is impressive. I love that. And I see the cabling and the wiring is in place, and the firing position, and from that firing position you're literally seeing this, so you can cover both directions.
A small opening to open or to close for the air. Here. You can open or close it
Okay, so
if you want to have air or if you want to be closed.
Oh yeah, there's just like blinds. This is original, isn't it?
Yes.
So this is a square fort as opposed to the triangular fort. And you have 4 corners, 4 domes, or 4 firing positions. Yes, no? N'est-ce pas?
Three corners only because we have one door. Look, it's a square, but we have only 3 defensive positions for this square because there is a double over 2 sides of the square. And for the block, we have two artillery blocks, 1 mortar block, the block with the 3 machine guns. It's 4, and yes, on the top, that's 4. Yeah.
This is just awesome. It is all in place in here. And they kept it restored, and they kept it original. The air, and the sandbags. This is just like they left it. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Munition storage for this block.
And that's for the racing cupola.
Yeah. I have no idea how they actually managed to get that up to the capital level, but that's what it's supposed to be for.
It's simply impossible.
Yeah, I think they just probably put there when the place is built.
And the munition storage.
And I bet you before this is the chart for different types of munitions with a different colour coding.
Oh, did I? Very neat and clean and descriptive and easy to understand.
With color.
So what do we got? We have the armor piercing. You have the canister. You have probably illumination, smoke, and high explosive. No?
We have la boîte à balles, donc the canister. Canister. Fontassier, it's again a soldier against infantry and against building.
Okay.
Short range,
Armor
large range, long range against infantry, and long range against building and vehicles.
So more armour piercing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So explosive armour piercing canister.
Yeah.
But this one explodes with a lot of shrapnel of
Yeah.
small part, and this one is to destroy wall, tank, and
That's
everything
all.
like
That's
this.
all the 75 mm.
This is what it should look like. You've got your 2 lifts.
This is the one that was completely demolished.
Yeah, both of them would look exactly the same as this.
Yeah.
Um,
So this is the munition elevator.
Here, the emergency lift. In the other, in that little room back.
And stairs. And machinery. So this is this is steel cables.
So it's electrically driven, but you've got the manual backup.
Yeah. For a few people.
So if there's electric failure.
I'm imagining that would have been extremely heavy.
If you want to move with a wounded soldier or something heavy,
Say a gun barrel or something like that. You'd raise that platform, there's hooks on the wall, like I showed you at the other place, hooks on the wall that hooks up so that you can lower something vertically from the very top, and you can still get up there if you're on foot because there's an emergency ladder up the side behind you.
And there's a
It
staircase.
just goes up vertically so you don't use the stairs. That goes all the way up to the top.
This really is like a little ship, isn't it? All right. Well. As is customary, I said as is customary on our vacations in life, is about an uphill staircase climb with a gun at the end. And I'm not going to bring you with me every single step of the way, just because. That's good. Machinery, and I hear water.
So that's the counterweight on this end. That's the base of the cupola. At the far end, if you look down the gap, you'll be able to see the 30-ton weights.
It's very nice to have a coat rack. I think that is a very nice touch.
Well, it's also so an officer can make sure everyone's up here.
Of course.
You come up, you hang your coats up, there's one missing, where's he hiding?
So this was for the van winch.
Here it's for the oil pressure. If there is a problem with a cupola, if he moves a little bit, it's possible to put oil down to go slowly up and he return on his original position. But you need very pressure oil to do this.
And I've got original pencil scribble from the troops who are here on the walls.
Something happened on May 10th. We see it a lot here.
The beginning of the war.
But they're all right.
Something special for a soldier, yes.
There as well.
It's like all these years in the military, I don't think I ever wrote my name in anything. Maybe it's time. It's time to begin now.
On the back of this door, from memory, if I'm right, there's a notification from the Germans.
Oh,
So I'll just close it a bit. Sorry.
okay. I was gonna why? There's a lot of writing here. But they had more time here, didn't they?
Yeah, 29th. May the 10th to the 29th.
So they had to hold out one more day longer than the armistice.
Yeah, basically.
They just have to have that extra, the last word.
51 over.
So how were they treated by the Germans? Were they respectful when they left?
They surrender because the king surrendered and they have no other choice.
Yeah.
I think that the Germans warned them that the Geneva Convention would not apply if they didn't surrender, because the country had surrendered. So they surrendered on the 29th. Which is fair enough.
A day after everybody else. That's kind of giving. That's doing your bit.
But without communication, no order. And it's why they wait.
It's like, what else are you going to do? If everyone else has surrendered and your country surrendered.
All the motors for the turn.
This the turn.
Yes, to turn, to move up and down. And here it's to turn.
I love the electro.
Here, which way to turn it? So
This side left,
left,
this
and
side right.
Even though it's just to confuse.
The rotation system. Wow.
That raises the coupler up and down.
Yeah.
It's like a corkscrew. So it doesn't sort of try and lift it vertically, it spins.
How is this different than the regular Maginot Line racing domes?
Oof, no idea.
Because they don't turn when they open, I believe.
Well, the coupler upstairs, up above, doesn't turn when it's rising. It's just this machinery down here turns like a corkscrew
Oh, okay.
to lift it. But the coupler itself doesn't turn when it's raising, is that correct? It doesn't turn as it's going up.
Wow.
Here it's for the moving up and down of the turret. This one.
It's an amazing piece of machinery. Is that the electricity? That's the coil?
Like this, you could turn the towel in 360 degrees without problem. There is no wire. It's only a small brush will take electricity on the circle.
Yeah. Wow.
And like this, you could make a 10 turn on the same side, you have no problem. Here you have the contour weight of the towel.
Well, that's where the water is running.
Yes. It's one of the problems of this fort. There is water everywhere.
Well, we're in Belgium.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the control panel.
Yes.
And this is where that's where the fuses would be.
Yes, the fuse, the light. And
This
at
is
the origin, everything was in the oil.
And this was 1935 ish. What was the voltage on the turret of the domes?
That's a very good question.
I know.
I don't know. Sorry, but if I have no answer, I prefer to say nothing.
I know.
That's all right.
There are 4 people on the entire planet who would understand what it meant if you gave me the answer anyway.
250 volts.
Oh.
You have it here. It's the maximum. Look, I suppose it's 220, but maximum 200.
All the pressure gauges. This is just like a small battleship.
Yeah, just same. Same thing. Motor, caserne, the same system for the caserne.
Go on.
Every 21st of July, they're fired.
Really?
Yep. The ammunition arrived here.
So the ammunition elevators, and they would unload the shells.
Well, the shells aren't unloaded yet, they're in those special
Then they
carts.
put little carts, yeah.
The carts are taken there, they're held in exactly the right place by those 2 little rails. This handle comes down to hold the cart against an air seal. The shells are taken out and loaded on a circular arrangement.
Because the fighting compartment was under pressure, so
Yeah.
even when you deliver the shells still have to
Pressure.
keep the pressure.
Because the pressure at the other side of the door can be different from here.
That is one thing you don't see or hear. My favorite thing in life is World War II rubber, and it is still.
Yeah, it's still.
It would hold some of the seal. That's impressive.
For
That's
something
well
from
thought.
80 years.
What would is that a winch?
It's for the wounded soldier or the heavy
The winch,
cases.
yeah.
That's when
You
raise
open
the
here.
platform all the way down. And room for sleeping, chambre à coucher. As a joke.
So how many people served here?
Yeah, it's a little less than 500 soldiers.
Around 500.
Yeah.
In the 500, there was 90 soldiers who were outside. In
Alright,
the
so that's
observatory block.
Right.
So 410 inside the fort.
Okay, so 400.
Approximately.
So this is the other side of the munition.
Yeah, so shells go out there and they're loaded onto this circular arrangement.
One floor up, and you still got the lights. I see the lights. And you loaded the shells in here.
And there's a nifty arrangement to transfer them. And you can see it's prefabricated off-site because, for example, the tubes on each side, they've got numbers on. So you have 8 against 8, 7 against 7, and so on. You've got 2 of these, one each side. So the shells are loaded here. They go into a chain arrangement there, taken up. And is it 4 or 5 shells they were allowed up on each side? 5?
4.
Eh? 4. And there's an automatic counter just around there, which counts the number of shells up there. So basically, when you fire, a shell casing drops down, it goes down by 1.
Yeah.
When one arrives, it goes up by 1. So you can't have more than 4 up there on each side. And then, if there's electrical failure, you can use this to manually send the shells up.
It's all thought out really well. I mean, they really thought about everything that could have gone wrong and tried to counter it.
Now, if you climb up there, there's the 2 guns, there'll be 5 people up there, so it's quite cramped. Imagine you're doing a big long shift there. Shells and bullets are bouncing off there. It'd be very, very hot in the summer. It's horrendous up there.
Yeah.
And there's 5 of you. You've got to be very good friends.
Well, you said the guns are up there, so.
Yeah.
Up here, inside the dome. You have the guns. This is the 75mm cannons sitting up here in the dome that would raise and rotate. And the spent ammunition dumped down through there. And it's a little tight crawling up here. Now they're here. So the one in the center is the vision port, right? Here's the guns. Shell casing.
You close the platform so that you've got more space.
Yeah, of course.
Have you spotted the scratchings?
Haven't
His
got-
face.
Haven't gotten that far yet.
I think she must have been a good looker.
Now, we were told to look for some graffiti up here. I'll see if we can find it. The regimental dog should have been scratched in here. Look at the riveting, look how this is welded together. And then here's the ammunition. The spent casings slide down in the holes so you wouldn't walk around in here with them. Still looking. Wow. Now, there being a heart etched in here. This is a heavy plate. He must have loved her. Going on the other side of the second cannon. And communication up here was radio. Telephone, of course. Yeah, that's...
Do you want me to come and stick my head up so I can answer some questions?
No, I'm good. This is just fascinating to see it all here. Yes, it does. This is something else.
The second one is to turn the turret.
Alright, so you have the 2 people up there doing
On the
that.
outside for the ammunition.
Right.
And the shooter.
And then we come back down there again.
Okay.
Now we're gonna climb down together somehow. Yeah, falling down is not really an option, is it?
No, it's very difficult.
After climbing that whole way up to the platform here, walking all the way down to tell me there's a simple staircase. But of course, a simple staircase will not give you the authentic feel of rust and dirt and spiders crawling down your neck. The hallmark of any good vacation is meeting all the spiders. I think, isn't it? So this is where they would come in and they would pack the explosives here, like at the other fort, and these, what's it, how many, 280 kilos?
500 kilos.
500 kilos. In each, that's a lot. That will do it, maybe. Well, maybe it will do it. It will certainly take the elevator out.
No, sorry, it's not. From each is for the building. Look, it's for the 2 or 3 floors.
Okay.
I make a mistake.
It's very peaceful down here.
Yeah. Slightly different a few years ago.
And here you have the storage for the fuse.
So remember
Yes.
at Aubin, but you didn't have any of the doors.
Yeah.
You've got the doors here for the munitions, you've got the doors for the fuse.
And each fighting position had their own magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got 4.
The pump for the water.
Ooh. Yeah. It's amazing, they left it all here. And the drainage hatch.
And your armoured doors, which were missing. This is the kind of door they use to seal off each block. So you'd have 2 of those, plus your steel beams, plus sandbags, plus steel beams.
This is 2 more doors, and the steel beams, and the sandbags, and the explosives. Well, I'm glad they didn't have to blow them up, so we're still here. So fighting never entered this fort on the inside.
It's the stairs. Okay. And here you still have a defensive position.
Yeah. Which is a universal feature in underground fighting positions and bunkers now. So what am I looking at?
A tunnel. But there's a feature which I really like, but that's probably because I'm quite boring. And it's the drainage, where the water comes out. Filtration, I think it's on the label. But there's 2 exits, one slightly higher than the other, they go in 2 different directions.
Yeah, it's a restroom. No, sorry. It's the second. I'm not on the good place. It's the second antenna for the radio.
Yes. See a long dark hallway.
But soon there will be a very small doorway on the right. Gateway to the underworld.
So there used to be lighting fixtures in here?
Yeah.
But the lighting is gone, and there's central heating pipes here too.
No, this section doesn't have them.
Really? I'm shocked and confused at this.
So punishment duty, you get posted down here in the cold.
You seem to be volunteering for it. I'm not.
Notice on the right, you just about to see a hatchway.
Can. That thing?
Yeah. Which I think is fantastic. So what you need to do is go in.
Because it don't smell like roses.
After you, sir.
Oh, there is nothing since many years.
Oh.
Well, you can get some good shots of the 2 drains going on and on and on. And the one on the left is the best one because you can actually see a tiny bit of light at the end. So you have gun ports in the doors.
So this is where the drainage would go for a significant while. Like a while. And you said there's firing ports down here?
Yeah,
Or-
look at that armored door. You can fire through it.
And there is a gate at the end of this tunnel.
There is a firing port in the door, in the little doorway to the sewage, just in case the Germans would sneak through the back door literally.
Well, it's not sewage, it's surface water drainage and things. The actual sewage just goes into a big septic tank. So, that's the most impressive tunnel for me anyway. And if you look carefully, you can see daylight at the end.
Really?
That goes into a water trough in a field for cows. A water trough that never empties and overflows.
How long is this?
What do you reckon, Christoph? It's quite long because it's right the water trough is right the other side of the main road.
Or 100, 110.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, I think. No more. It's enough.
I wouldn't like to crawl through it and then have someone at this end start shooting at me.
And I thought you get a telephone just in case. And you get some nice graffiti here too. Do you think that's original?
Yeah, God is with us. He's protecting me.
The thing is, Tancremont has never been insecure. So Aubin's full of horrible graffiti all over the place. Tancremont has been secure all the way through.
And the German don't want to work with heavy pieces in the fort.
Sure.
They take the pieces in the ventilation system near the exit.
How far now we're already 27 meters down.
Yeah.
And now we're going down another.
Approximately 80 meters here. Because we are in a grass fields. We are in a field on the other side of the road, and there is only 18 meters.
Woohoo!
The fresh air comes by the hole at the end of this small tunnel on the ground. Very cold.
That's something.
Here it's emergency pieces. If we have damage, we could change a part of the exhaust pipe.
Oh, these are spare parts for the
Yes,
air vent.
it's the pipe for the air. We could change a part if we have a problem.
Yeah, this is for the air intake.
Yeah.
Where the fresh air's coming in. So this is the armoured air intake.
Oh. The same key. It's possible we can go. I will check, but I'm not sure.
If you haven't got the key number, I'm going to see it's at block P.
Here it's the original. At the end of the visit will be the same, you will see the same in the block B, but there is an infantry exit at this place, and the German take away the motor because there is an exit just near. Here it's too long.
Too deep and too heavy.
Emergency exit, which was secret and has never been used. So if you were on the surface in the fields at the side of the road, if you jump up and down around the block, at one point you can feel the ground moving. There's some nice calendars where people painted it on the dates.
Oh, come back up again. Nice steel. Is that marble?
Oh my God, it's marble.
So, that's a steel rim?
They put a steel edge on.
Steel edge, yeah. Did it right. What's the pipe for?
Drainage. Because look, you've got the corrugated roof, so the moisture,
Oh, that's
before the
corrugated.
corrugation comes along, goes into like a gutter through there, and then down to the edge.
Maybe here? Yeah.
Explosives.
And here, yeah, it's for the explosive, and that's why it's the only door who can be locked.
Yeah, every time. seeing the mortars.
It's very impressive.
Yeah. Just the whole setup is impressive from the outside. And the mortar, the Germans use completely different type of mortars in their bunkers. They had the auto mortar, which is a smaller caliber.
You've got all machinery with 3 lifts.
Yeah.
So the crews would take the mortar bombs from there, pop it in there, it turns around, gets grabbed, and so on. And the chain drive takes them up to the top. On the left, there's one without the casing, so you can see better how it works.
Yeah. So we'll take, what, 4 at a time? At clamp in?
Yeah.
Oh. This. Yes. So you'd load them, the projectiles in there, and then they would...
They get grabbed.
Yeah, get grabbed. That's interesting. So these would come in and then swoop them up individually, and then you'd reload another 4. Way up there to the mortars. This is impressive.
And note, the stairway here is hinged. So if you've got to bring something big and heavy along this corridor, that can be hinged up.
You can lift it up.
Lift it up, yeah. And you've got the landing. You can fold up, as in the other places, for anything very heavy that needs lowering or raising. So when I was explaining at the other place, I said you've got that lip, then you've got the very narrow shark's mouth, and the mortar tube's right down there. How can that be hit? It's almost impossible.
Yeah. All right.
More stairs. And your explosive trap facing you going to.
Yes.
Only 100 here.
Oh,
For the explosive,
Six
for demolition.
Yes.
And you see more
Beach block.
rails for the mortars. And then there's the ever continuous walking up upstairs. And another room for explosives. So, what are toilets? Yes. I've seen them before, it just took me a minute before.
so when you were at Aubin, you looked up that shaft, you were looking at this.
Yes.
Then you have the concrete steps to the side. This is the entrance to the observation dome on the top, through here.
So, one, and two, and the third. Wow. So, let's find one without a net on it.
And you have your klaxon, of course.
So let me see. So you load the shells in there, and then there's the charge. Would go in as well, or?
For the charge, they are here, down of the bomb, and we have the possibility to put the main charge and 2 additional if we need.
Yes.
Like this, we could have overruns between 150 and 3,600 meters.
So the shells would come up and the charges would be added here?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the mortar, I like it. And the charges will be added, and then it'll be loaded, and then it'll be fired. Is it a manual fire here, or where's the trigger? What's the trigger?
Good question for you, Christopher. I have no idea.
We only shot with an angle of 45 degrees. It's impossible to change the angle.
But
where
do you fire
we use
the firing pin?
firing pin. It's
Well, the firing pin is there.
you take it and bam. And you
So
can see
you,
it.
so you literally
here.
fire it there.
Yeah. It's a manual system,
Is a man? Okay, that's what I. Yeah, of course.
and for the different range, we move.
There's a gas, there's a
Yeah,
valve
yeah,
for
it's
releasing gas or keeping it in.
This was in case you needed to move it out.
Yeah. So that goes to the centre above the shaft, basically, and you've got one.
How come this fort was not scrapped in the 50s like all the others?
Wasn't it that the scrap merchants went bankrupt?
Oh, it's a good reason.
They failed, and
Yes, but
Tancremont was saved.
yes, because the Amical.
And there's a spare mortar tube.
Yeah. And it's with this opening that we could change the range. This triangle arrived in front of this pipe.
Yeah.
The gun is here, and if the triangle is closed, all the gas stay in the pipe, and we have our maximum range.
Yeah.
If we want to shoot shorter, we open slowly the triangle, and a part of the gas go in these two exhaust pipe. Like this, we have no power in the pipe for the shell, and we have a shorter range.
Get it. I totally get it.
Like this, we could have all the range between 150 and 3,600.
It's all about reducing the pressure.
And if you come here, you could see it's the range in meter you need to take off of the maximum range of a charge. If with free charge you have a 3,600, here you have it's 300 meter less. You have 3,300 meters.
So the
Like
more
this.
okay.
And it's turned in the same time that the pipe, that the gun. It's more easy for the officer.
Oh. You're going to be honoured.
All right, I'm coming.
It's been opened up for you. That is a very rare privilege.
Something has opened for us. So what?
That's the observation dome.
There is
in the
not a
middle
lot of place.
Well,
And it's possible to go up, but if you go up, walk on the outside.
all right. So we're coming up in the observation dome. Wow. One thing they have here that's very good timing is this. I'll give yourself the last bit. Bang your camera into stuff.
When it's closed, it's for the observation, and when it's open, it's for the shooting with an automatic rifle.
I'm just saying this is a really cool photo of you guys. All right, so did we have a periscope in the middle?
Yep. Yeah.
And here you have. So there's only one person up here.
Normally, yes.
But you.
Sometimes two for the ammunition.
You could actually fire. You could just fire a rifle from here. Just. So the dome over there, that's a 75 millimeter cannon, right?
You can see the two couplers from there. Each one has two 75mm guns in.
There's one. Great view once again. So where's the coffee machine up here? I mean,
For that you've got to crawl right all the way to the barracks.
fine. All right. Oh, so they're not just lifted up. They're actually, yeah, they are. They're heavy.
You're
Yes.
going to have to take the ammunition boxes up.
Can't see what it's connected to.
Back slightly. I've got to see the cathedral. Christoph, the cathedral!
Yeah.
To make a prayer.
Well, this would be the cathedral.
No.
Yeah.
It's the stars.
It's the centre.
Because there is a lot of waste barrack here.
So right here we are
Full of the
right,
stars.
right in the middle. This is the middle. This is the center of the fort.
Yeah, you're enough.
Or thereabouts. Right. So you have over 2 kilometers down here.
Yeah.
Well, people can get lost.
No. Because when there is during the visit, there is a big part of the fort which is closed. Welcome in the casino.
What was supposed to have been here?
120mm coupler.
Like the 120 in Fort Aubin.
You'd have had
We're going up again.
So basically the shaft, you're just standing on the shaft. That can be raised up, for pulling up ammunition. And then that's just straight down to the bottom.
So above us is nothing, except dirt.
Concrete. Lots of concrete.
When was it blocked off?
Well, you would have had the coupler up there.
Well, there was, the coupler was installed.
Would have been, would have been.
Would have been, yeah.
So then they've roofed it over, concrete, and then there's 3 machine gun cloches. So one over there, access, one behind me there, and one right behind you.
Alright, so you have a machine gun dome up here.
Yeah.
And then in the center of these would have been a 120 cannon.
Sorry?
Well, these three to replace the coupler.
Oh, they replaced the coupler. Okay, okay.
The coupler was designed to be a round coupler. Imagine if they'd got one in the middle of the field.
Okay.
It would have been like that. But at the last second, probably.
So there's still a reason to be here.
We'll have 3 machine guns up there instead.
You would think that. So they're in steel domes, the machine guns.
No, we're outside.
We only
Okay.
have the place for 3 machine guns.
But they're still steel domes.
Yeah, because it don't move.
You wonder if these 3 didn't cost the same as one big one. Go on. Go on. Okay.
This is one here that was you say on the concrete. Or is it one of the other ones? Original feature.
Yeah.
Cargo trolley.
Cargo truck. Yes, those we see.
Oh. Is that a lot of water?
Quite a lot. 4 centimetres probably.
Oh.
How are your shoes?
You decide.
I'm happy.
Here it's a double copper, or we go in a simple.
I mean, just jump, can't we? I mean,
Yes,
Here,
here no
guys.
problem, but after you still have a gallery.
Oh.
With water everywhere.
Do you want to go for it? It gradually rises, so it gets shallower.
More or less of a pressure, you open or close the opening, and you have a few or more hair in the gallery.
well, they're not rubberized, or
No.
it will just hold.
Yeah, it's not to be airtight. It's just to reduce or increase.
There's a lot of shutters going on in these forts here. A lot of blind system.
An outdoor.
There is. Yeah. I like that. Just keep it going, doesn't it? So what you're saying is these stones were made in England?
And it was used to line wood underneath.
Oh.
And it imprinted itself on the reverse of the paint stand. It might be one of these here, from memory.
Water.
Okay.
We will check the block too, and it's right.
So there's the command center.
Yeah. But if you look on the wall to your left, posters were stuck on there, or pictures, and they've stayed on there. A bit rough now.
A little. Very much personal touches.
Yeah, you don't have the nice paintwork, but you have the posters. It's a practically identical design. You've got your 2 rooms, so the radio and this is the telephone one on the way.
Oh yeah. We lost in line.
No, these are the ones based here.
Well, the base here, okay.
Yeah.
So did they come back after, or okay?
I couldn't tell if that was done during battle or afterwards.
It could have been done in 1945 for those who
Could
came
be
back.
the ones that came back. You've got more of the phone equipment here. What I think is a nice touch though, these brackets for holding up the cables.
Really is very neat and detailed.
Yeah. And then you've got the corrugated roof, pulling the condensation into the gutters.
In here.
And here, look, you've got your calendar.
Oh yes. So we're coming out to a machine gun cupola here?
And you're coming up to one of the corner casements.
Ooh, corner
So
casement.
if you imagine a C2, where the Germans got in, you you mentioned these stairs that the guys there had to run down under fire very quickly, and then the tunnel was blown. This is kind of stairway.
Did you say stairway?
Yep, it's very steep.
Uh-huh. I guess. Oh, well, some of them.
Here, so it's between the stairs and the ladder.
Did you say elevator?
And while I'm dragging myself up another 30 meters of stairs, we'll just have a look at the nice outside of the fort.
The greeting for coming up the stairs. So out here's the moat.
Here it's a light.
And then machine gun. No?
No, not here. There is two rooms. One for the light, one for the machine gun, and one for the anti-tank gun. And they communicate.
Speaking tube.
Yeah. On allume. Light on. Here it's a place for the 47mm anti-tank gun.
Yeah.
But he was away.
So out here is the moat, the whole walkway, and we came in way down there and looked this way.
Mm-hmm.
Oui, oui. Okay, is this original?
Yeah. Between the 10 and the 29. 29.
I would say explain the Indian, but then again, Belgium, you had Congo, West India, you had
We have a lot of
trade, okay. And munition storage.
for the anti-tank gun. 2 centimeters. And here is a place for a machine gun. You can see the outside. And at the end, if you go left, it's the entry of the fort.
Alright, let's see if we can punch.
And here the soldiers were very positive because they prepared the calendar for June.
I like that.
But they stopped. The 29.
I think that's really something that's worth mentioning, because people have always been told for so many years that the Germans just ran over Belgium and France and surrendered, done with it. But that's not true. People fought here so much longer and so much harder in these forts. And then, of course, you have this phenomenal staircase.
Toilets. And gas oil.
So these are
For the
the
mortar. Original.
These are the original old barrels, and they are a bit more heavy duty than they are today. Was this just for reinforcement, or was this for rolling it?
Yeah, they are built to be rolled.
They're built to be rolled.
Here's the lift.
Tell me it's working.
It works.
It does.
make it work. How cool. It's a double level lift.
Actually, it's not good.
Don't worry.
That's you. What's happening? Oh,
Emergency stop.
yes, just for the light. No.
It's a hell of a cable. And this is all original machinery?
Yes. And then.
This is not even loud. This is so quiet.
At the origin there was two motors, one very fast, and at the end for the last centimeters, a slow. Now we only could use the slow motor, this one moves slow, very slowly. Because this one, on the origin, was only used for the last centimeters to don't have a big stop.
Yeah.
And the lift is going down.
Oh yeah, it's coming. So this is steel wire wrapped in piece of oil grease cable. Was this for ammunition?
Only.
Which is a good reason to be slow.
No, it must go faster.
Almost out of the road. That's all original.
Yeah.
The metal looks in incredibly good shape. And this would lift a lot because this would be both the munitions and the oil and supplies. What's the capacity on this, do we know?
What's the weight? What's the weight?
So this is one floor and then there's one more coming up there. That makes sense. Only send down one. I mean, if this was full of ammunition and oil, this would be able to lift some stuff. And it's still more smooth than any elevator I've seen in any hotel lately. You can barely feel this is moving. No vibrations, nothing. This has a smoother ride than the elevator at the Marriott. So that was for the fast. It's a little cool just down here at an 80-some-year-old elevator that is still working. And this thing would put up real heavy loads of munitions and oils and water. All the supplies for the fort would come down through this elevator. That is smoother than anything I've seen, and it's still working just perfectly fine. It is so impressive to see this place with everything here in place. They literally just left it alone, and a lot of the soldiers that had been fighting here, that ended up in German prisoner of war camps, when they came back to this city, they spent time here.
They had little get-togethers and kept the fort safe from scrappers that was also running out of money for scrapping metal around this time, leaving this fort safe and intact. Definitely a place you guys should visit. So, how do you feel about being in charge of the only functioning piece of mechanics that's some 85 years old?
Terrified.
Outstanding.
Especially when it starts making very strange noises.
So they were digging another shaft down here behind this wall.
Yeah, as they were at Aubin. Started to do it Aubin. And they basically threw all the workmen's tools down there. The workmen ran away or abandoned the place.
On May 10th.
May 10th.
Literally on the day.
On the day. The work was going on. It was a construction project to increase the diesel storage at this fort. And May the 10th came along, German invasion. The workmen evacuated themselves. The soldiers here burnt the wooden bridge down that was across the moat. They filled in the holes, and they weren't quite so good at smoothing concrete.
But they did all this, that was done on the day.
On the day.
Just to seal it, make sure Germans couldn't get in that way.
Yeah.
And with all the tools and everything else that got piled down here, a little bit of topsoil and a little bit of grass. I mean, they worked quickly and efficiently here on May 10th.
Yeah.
They got stuff done and they were ready to fight. And Lord knows they lasted until a day after the battle was over.
So I think that's quite a nice little story. Again,
Yes.
personal touch.
Be interesting to dig in there and find the
Yeah.
tools, but
Wheelbarrows and all sorts. So very similar to the map. We've got two generators here. But here you can see the exhaust. They would connect to back the generators.
yep, that is the exhaust.
And then on the wall here, we've got some modern switchgear, but it's the original framework and a lot of the original switchgear on there.
Like the phone. You're keeping stuff down here.
Spares.
And you're keeping a very large diesel engine.
It's exactly the same as they have at Aubin, but more complete. And it's that easy to actually run on.
So was this an original submarine engine, or was this a specifically made
No, it's a boat.
It's a marine engine.
marine engine? Yeah.
I think Carol still exists.
And you had the water tank upstairs as well. And you have all the tools to fix this thing. You were so lucky you just have everything was just left here.
With a military system.
Military system?
Yes.
There's a military system for the showers.
We have two doors for the same showers. Two soldiers enter and undress. The fast door push the door and take a shower. The door is closed for the second soldiers who wait. When it's finished, the soldier enters, take the door. The door is open for the second soldier. He goes to take his shower. This one dress, go out, another one enter, undress and wait.
Push the door again.
And we have 5 minutes of shower 1 time per week.
And the faster one gets in first.
The rest of the time, it's on the room. And the showers were putting here because we are near the mortars, and we use the hot water from the mortars to have temperate water for the shower.
Yeah. And these are the water tanks up here.
Indeed. And you've got some gauges on the wall behind you as well.
It's the level of 2.
Yeah.
The German army had the showers.
Oh, so I thought it was the squatters after.
Just before the soldiers destroyed the shower. No comfort for the enemy.
If you climb up there, you've got the diesel storage tanks. Aubin, they've all gone. If you got there, they've got the gauges, they've got even smells of diesel up there. Go on.
Yeah.
You know you want to.
Is this the, what is this? Heating coils?
Here it's something you can't find anywhere else because it's a prototype and there is the number of the prototype on it. It's an absorber. It's to take the humidity of a room.
So this is a prototype late 1930s dehumidifier.
Yeah.
So do we know, was it ever made after the war? Did it become a thing?
There was crystal inside, and when the crystals take a lot of water, they come here, connected it to this radiator, and the crystal dry.
So they can reuse it.
Yeah, it's the same system that the dehumidificator.
So prototype,
Use it a lot of time.
did it work?
I don't know.
Maybe we should try it in that tunnel.
Diesel storage tanks. All the original diesel tanks, the storage tanks, one of the generators. The original writing on 2,500 liters. One of the fascinating things they would do here is they would mix the cold air with the hot air from the machines, and the condensation would be drained. But by mixing, they wouldn't leave a visual footprint of smoke or especially hot air in the winter. And it does get cold and wintry here.
And here you left the fort. Here it's the limit of the ditch.
Okay, so upstairs here, this is...
Here we are outside the domain of the fort, and we are under the street,
Okay.
under the road. Welcome in the caserne. Because it's difficult for a soldier to sleep, to drink and to eat with the mask, we have filter air inside the caserne. To have it, the fresh air arrives in a room just on the other side of this wall. It is filtered, taken by this ventilator, and he go underground to the caserne. The soldiers in the caserne always have filtered air.
So if there's a gas attack,
Yeah.
they could still be here.
In the gallery, we could decide if we want to put air filter or not. With this opening, if we want to have filter, we open the gate like this. And if we don't want to have filter here in the gallery, we close it.
So these are where the filters were in. And that was cold, the regular cold filter.
Yeah, it's a regulation for the filter here
Yeah.
in the fort.
This is the airlock. So this will be closed. It's frappe A and so
Knock and wait.
Knock and wait. You've got two sets of doors. One has to be closed, so you can't enter until that one's closed. Then you come in, then this one has to be closed before you can go into the other one.
The airlock.
As in,
Which means barracks.
And here you have a picture of the fort, the entry building, the mortar, the free machine gun, the two blocks with the 75mm gun, and we are here, outside the fort.
Toilets, washroom.
And nice green colors.
Officer room and soldier room to see the difference.
Yeah, that would be good because you can compare the officers' rooms here with the officers' rooms at Aubin.
Let's go.
And the hospital wing here is in one piece, as opposed to Aubin where it's in pieces.
Here, it's a soldier room.
So many soldiers would be stationed in here. So there's 30 people? And there's colors on the walls down here, this is nice.
It's a little fun.
Washroom. So when you're not having your weekly shower, this is your daily washing. And it's really good condition. Very shallow sinks, cold water only. Yeah. Foot baths behind you.
Yeah, that's important.
Which still have the original pipes.
For the soldier.
Yeah, trench foot was a real thing. A lot of things was a real thing. Still a real thing today. And this just ends up here with the water.
Cold.
The cold water.
Can't have them too comfortable, can you?
No. Oh yes.
An interesting snippet in the soldiers' barrack rooms, there are no radiators. Yeah, but the pipes go all the way around, just above floor level. Apparently that was to stop them fighting over the warm spots. So if you have a radiator, you want to get rid of bullying, someone goes to the roof of the radiator, it's the same all the way around.
And I would imagine that would actually keep it warm enough in a room like this with 24 people.
And this original cabling from the 1930s, it's actually still in use. We just put a new junction box on and some modern cabling at the other end, but it's fed by that, and that is original 1930s cable.
It is so impressive that this still runs and still works. That really is something.
Hopefully for us.
Electricities are expensive. Electricians are expensive.
Cable is too. And here you'll notice the difference between the officers' rooms here and the officers' rooms at Aubin.
Here, it's an officer room, water, radiator, and only 2 persons in a room.
No hot bedding.
Always at the same place.
How is this? There's, I mean, the whole, I said, there's a color scheme throughout this entire, the living quarters, which is really nice. Makes it a little bit more homely.
There was only 3 officers who have a single room. The commander, the medical officer, and the priest.
Of course.
Which one is this one? Is this the one for the priest?
No, this one I don't think. I think it's the commander.
Okay. We now come through here and you can
Yes, you could
control the amount of air coming in. There's a sliding vent.
So there's constantly having air coming through the old radiators.
Here we are in the medical area. We have the hospital on the other side with the operation room. We have the pharmacy. We have the wake-up room. And here, our spa. Sauna, hammam.
Sauna?
It's a bathroom. There was 2 baths, and if a soldier, if a gassed soldier is too weakly to take a shower, he is putting in the bath, and it's more easy for the doctor and for the infirmer to help him to go out of the bath. But it's only the bath for the gas soldier.
Yeah, but you can look it.
Yes. Here are the toilets, but it's the only place you could see at the pane. It's the only place where we have modern toilets with a seat.
Yes, squat toilets.
It's the same thing if you have a soldier who is wounded or gassed. It's more easy to sit.
Yeah. Squat, yeah.
And if a soldier is ill, and here you have more because there is 3 for the hospital and 2 for the officer.
Officers don't squat, they sit.
The operation room.
Yeah.
For Unchanged, it's the opposite. You will see Aubin and not Tancremont, because it's the only picture.
You've probably got those pictures on the DVD.
Old CD, I don't know if the new DVD, the new one.
Well, I meant all of them. So this was the one kitchen for all the people that were stationed here. This was it?
Yeah, it's the only one.
But didn't they get all the sheep and the cows from around and put them in the boat? So they had nice light meat.
Oh wow. Coal burning stove, you say? That's nice. You talk a lot about toilets here.
British humour.
Well, yeah, there's that.
The interesting thing about this isn't necessarily what's in where you are, but what's on the door.
This door.
The wooden door here.
Oh, that door.
This door. Come and have a look from this side, pointing that way. Newspapers.
Oh. Insulation?
At the origin, there is a pump to help to empty the toilets. but the Belgian soldier destroyed it before leaving the fort. And
The septic tank was basically overflowing.
was full, and it started to stink. And the German soldier don't want to take away the shit of the Belgian soldier. And at the beginning, there is no civil who could enter the fort. And trying to counter the smelling of the shit, the German soldier put a newspaper on the door, trying to close it, to send it hermetic. But it doesn't work, and they stop.
Yes. So these are captured magazines, or are they actually German?
German, there's some German.
German, some there.
And I think on one of them there's a Mickey Mouse cartoon I found long, but I had a good old look at it a long time ago. So you've got German newspaper on top of French newspaper, and that looks like in French Donald Duck. Donald Duck cartoon in French. There.
Kill your first wife.
And here you have original barbed wire from 1939, approximately.
Okay, why?
Because it's the only place on the fort where you could have heating pipe in the middle of a gallery. And it's not big pipe, it's a smaller one. And the army was afraid that the soldiers want to do the monkey or to do exercise and break the pipe. It's why they put barbed wire all around. Here and here.
No, I didn't do it once. Here, defensive position. If you look through the sight on the gun mount, you get a perfect view down the corridor. I don't know how you managed to film it. If you look through it, it's a perfect view.
And in front of you, it's the stair who go to the exit.
Just a little security room again.
So an underground defensive point. Then you've got another airlock. Small one. So
The entry and after the filter. To have filter here, the fresh air comes from the right. This door were open, and all the filter were put in the hole. There was 280 filter here.
All charcoal filters.
so the air goes in underneath, goes up through the filters.
There is the same.
So you've got two chambers.
Yeah.
This is good.
And here we are on the top of whole door. The filter were put in here.
Wow. So this is where all the filters?
Yeah.
And then you replace them in time just by replacing them here. So you just pull these up when they need replacing.
It takes it out.
How many rooms like this in here?
Two. The second one here.
course, yeah. It's very neat. You don't see that.
And from the other side, it pushes it under the floor.
That is a giant ventilator. Yeah. I see these cutouts in some of these tunnels and by the doors that I've never seen really anywhere else. What is this?
Well, it's to transport something very large, very long. If you didn't have that cutout there, you wouldn't be able to bend it around to get it down the corridor. So it allows you to get one end of, say, a long beam to this position and then take it down there. Without it, it would be impossible.
They really thought these things through.
Yeah. They did indeed.
It's nice stuff that there's only 9 of them. Stairs. Fine position, eh? Oh, that's...
So we're heading to the area saying about block P.
This thing again. Now you should visit these forts for a lot of reasons. And I bet you think exercise is not one of them. However, you would be wrong. There's an ungodly amount of steps and stairs in these forts. So exercise, bonus.
Here, there's a base in the air check. It's in the lower position. And you can raise 10 meters.
18 meters.
18?
18.
Wow. You raised 18 meters.
18 meters, 7 tons.
So why would you want to raise it? Why would you
In
want
case of
to?
gas. So you can get air in from above gas which stays lower.
So literally, in case of gas attacks, this would raise above the gas.
Yes, because gas stays near the ground.
Yeah.
And you can take clean air from way above a gas attack. Unfortunately, when it's up in the air, it's also a very nice tower for shellfire.
And you can crawl out of it. Can you actually crawl out of it? Or up?
You crawl up it.
That to go inside the ventilator. And the ventilator put it on the top of the...
Yes.
On the top of a room. And go all about the big hole you see in the gallery. In front
This
of
is a ventilation shaft.
Yeah, I mean, basically you crawl in, or climb it, you can walk through, and you can see the blades.
I know. This is a serious, significant.
The air come from here. With the ventilator, you go up.
That's a ventilation pipe.
You like playing?
So this is a spool that would run this, or is it? No, what is this? This is not.
It's
This is
for
a
the
right?
electric motor. You
This
see
one?
it in the other room. It's the same.
Okay, yeah.
You play with the two wire.
Yeah. You have a belt drive,
Yeah.
electric motor.
So these electric motors upstairs. So this is the machine room to raise.
Raise and lower the air intake.
Huh. On a cable like the elevator. This looks like it still works.
Probably could, if it did work.
It looked like it would hold. And then the cables run down there where we were. Okay.
Here you have the automatic rifle who protect the exit.
And it's literally just that wall. Outside.
To go to the other defensive room, you need to open it. Yeah. Okay. The 12th May, the German army attacked the fort, the main attack of the war. They arrived on the top of the building and put explosive against the observatory cupola. There was a lot of smoke here in the building, and the soldier thinks, oh, the German enter the fort, it's the end. And everybody left. But nobody think to open the door, go down, take the tunnel, go up, and say to the soldier who is alone in this room, hey, we exit the building. But usually, when you exit a building, you blast the stairs with explosive and it's finished. Here, everybody go away quickly, and nobody put explosive. They only put the sense back to close the way. And when the commander arrived on the feet of the building, he said, no, the German soldiers aren't around the building, you could go up. Okay, they start to take off the sense back, and they're here running in the stairs. And it's the soldier who was alone, who wait. There is nothing, no shoot, nothing, no soldier. He wait. And he think, oh, I would say hello to my friend. He take this way, exit here. Oh, there is nobody to protect the entry. It's not normal. He go in the next room, there is nobody. And he go quickly in the stairs saying, hey, where are you? And hopefully he is saying, where are you? Else, the other soldiers take the automatic rifle and are ready to shoot him. And he was very afraid, this soldier.
That could have gone wrong so many ways. That could have gone so... Let's see what we've got here. 81mm mortar shell.
Yes.
75mm shell. 47mm shell.
Yeah. Easy. Easy.
I've read a book.
The main charge, the main propulsive charge.
Yeah.
And if you want to put more, you put
And
it
then the
here.
canister around.
Yes.
Yeah. What is this?
The propulsive powder.
Have not seen that before.
It's a gargousse. And it's one who burn and take smokes.
Not much of a view you would see from in here. There's
Oh, there's the rail for the searchlight, which I mentioned. Tino, the rail for the searchlight. And then that opens.
Here.
That opens, searchlight can go out. I'll look around, put it back in again. Oh, there it is. Oh, cool. Excellent picture. And there's a picture of the searchlight.
When you will be on the top, you'll see there is a forest near the fort.
So they snuck in.
Yeah. And the problem is this forest is the property of the Baron.
The problems the Belgians had was the local baron who owned the forest nearby refused to let them cut down the trees, thus allowing the Germans to be able to sneak up closer to the fort than they otherwise would, undetected by those in the fort.
And very similar to the ones at Block P at
They would have come from down there.
in one piece.
Which is very nice.
Block P at Aubin, there were 2 of those.
Going up that way or going this way?
Go that way.
Oh,
Well, you can try that way, but no one's used it for years.
I can tell. It's probably safer for next time the Germans show up. So the ventilation tube would come up here.
Yeah, that's it in the down position with the hermetic seal, rubber seal around it. And then I thought it would go up 10 metres, but apparently it's 18. Rise up 18 metres.
Making it so much easier to hit.
Yeah.
So, what do we got? Got one hit there.
There's a few on the other side.
Now we're getting there, yes.
And a good cluster here.
I would think an 88 would go a little deeper, but and they did drag a lot of Mark 36 with them.
And as was customary at the time, the peacetime barracks that was located outside the fort proper was burnt down at the sign of opening of hostilities.
Like the main occupants of fort these days. Oh, he's a young guy. No. What's really interesting is we're here on the roof of the fort, and everywhere there are bomb craters. Now that without all the plants we've seen on some of the other forts, you can clearly see where the bombs dropped. See all the domes, the firing positions. This was large. Several kilometers of underground walkways, combat blocks. And over here is what is becoming my favorite, is the mortar tubes. The mortar firing positions with the shark mouth, as I'm going to call it from now on. See the craters. It's the observation dome I was inside. I'm sorry, it looks like a shark mouth. As where the mortar, this is the range of motion the mortar could fire. And then of course adjust the pressure for distance. And the bombs would drop, they would drop down into here. and explode upwards and outwards and still protect the mortars. And have his own observation. There's another mortar pit over there. See, a bomb would drop down in the mortar pit. From above, it is still protected.
I am Christophe. We are in the fort of Tancremont in 2021. This fort was built during the year 1938, between 1935 and 1938. I am a guide here in Tancremont since 21 years, and it's my passion. I love fort, I love fortification, I love Belgian army, and I love the Second World War.
So what happened here on May 10th? How did it
10th.
go? How did that, just talk me through the war.
Oh, it was very quiet on the beginning. The 10th May, it was the beginning of the war. The soldier enter into the fort, destroy the peace building. It was wooden building who were in the forest, who doesn't exist during the war. There is no tree all around us. It's difficult to imagine when you see the forest all around, but there was nothing. You could see at 2 or 3 kilometers all around, like this. If you see on this side, you could see at kilometers and kilometers. All the soldiers enter the fort and wait. It's the beginning of the war, everybody was afraid. And the commander say, if you see or hear something, you shoot. The elf on the morning, he check all the posts and say, stop, it's impossible. You shoot a lot during the night, and I see no German soldier all around. And there was no German soldier during the 10th and the 11th. They shoot cow, they shoot bird, they shoot tree, everything will move or make a little noise.
That's what they were told to do.
And he say, no, you only shoot with my order. You need my order to shoot. And the 12th May, the German army attack. The main attack of the war arrived the 12th May. They arrived by the forest, le Bois des Mazures, who is here on your right.
Mm-hmm.
There is a forest who exists during the Second World War. Because it's the property of the Baron d'Arimont, who was ambassador from Belgium in Vienna, I think. I'm not sure. No. And the army has to cut a part of the tree because they are too near by the military domain. But he say no, it's impossible because it's my forest. And there was only 25 meters between the forest and the military domain. It's easy for the German soldier to arrive camouflaged in the forest, exit the forest, do the 25 meters, and arrived at the air pipe, the 2 blocks, who give the fresh air into all the fort.
Mm-hmm. So the Germans were actually coming on the roof on the 12th already?
Yes, not here into the fort, on the top of the fort, but on the top of the outside building, yes. They arrived at the top of the block P, the exit of the fort.
But they were repelled. They didn't make it into the fort here.
No, they can't enter.
So
they stay on the top, and they were put away by the Tyrol, who shoot a canister of 75 millimeters. It blast all the soldiers who were in the range of 300 meters. And we have a machine gun on the top of the block 1 who shoot and protect the air pipe too.
So they actually fired at the air pipe?
Yes, it's possible to shoot from the fort to protect the air pipe.
Okay. So did they lend supporting fire with the mortars as well?
From the mortar, yes, but it's limit for the range because the minimum range is 150 meters for the mortar. And the air pipe were between 125 and 150.
But
it's the limit.
Did they support any of the other forts around?
Yes, we could receive support from Baptiste. And if you look, the block 2, the tower of the block 2. On the left, there is an antenna alone.
Yes.
It's the antenna in the fort of Baptiste.
Oh.
On the top of the fort of Baptiste. You can see Baptiste. Baptiste is here. You have an antenna alone. It's the fort of Baptiste.
Yes.
And between these two forts, there is 12 kilometers. Baptiste has a 120 millimeters turret, who has a range of 15 kilometers. No problem to shoot on Tancremont. The problem is we must have 120, but because it costs a lot of money, they decide to put 3 machine guns instead. It's not a good idea.
So you couldn't support them?
No, because the range of the 75 millimeters is when you are very easy between 10 kilometers and a half and 11 kilometers. Baptiste is at 12 kilometers.
And the mortars definitely wouldn't
No.
do it either. 3-4
No,
kilometers.
3 kilometers,
3 kilometers.
600 meters, it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's why Baptiste could protect us in case of attack, but we couldn't protect Baptiste.
And the Germans would be coming from what direction? Where's north from here?
From this
That
direction, because the German border was here, they come from the German border, arrived in Verviers, and come from this forest.
And
They
what,
arrived between the two forts, Baptiste and Tancremont.
so you held out all the way until the 20. Was there a lot of fighting in between, or did you get bypassed, or?
No, the German soldiers don't stop here. They only stay 1 day, no more. After they continue to conquer all the Belgium and attack the French. And there is only old troops here all around trying to take the fort.
But no.
That's all. But the best army unit, the best German army unit were all away, were far away on the 2028
So
at the end of the war.
So they literally put you under siege here.
Yeah.
So you okay? How long did you? How many supplies for how long?
1 month.
1 month.
We have ammunition and food for 1 month.
So when you get to the 29th, you coming a few days close to that time.
Oh, we still have ammunition and food. There is no problem. We have gasoil, we have everything, and it's why they don't surrender the 28, because they have ammunition, they have gun, they have food, they have soldier. They don't need to surrender. They can't surrender, and they need to receive an order the 29th May to surrender, because they can't without order.
Yeah.
The problem is that there was no headquarters the 29th, because the Belgian army surrendered and there is no more Belgian officer to give the order. And it's the General Sprank, German general, who write a note on his honor saying the king surrendered the 28th May with all the army and you need to surrender too, else we will blast you.
Yeah.
Because you are the only unit, we have all the possibility, all of our power only for you. And they surrender the 29th.
How come they didn't hear the king's surrender on the 28th?
He have no other possibility. He was with his infantry in a small part of Belgium, because the French and the British start to retry.
Yeah.
Not to retry,
Retreat.
to retreat in France. And the Belgian army was alone at some point, and with a lot of wounded and killed troops, and there is no need to continue to fight.
And the officers marched out, saluted each other as they went. There was a mutual respect amongst the soldiers who fought here on both sides. Remember the long stairwell we walked downstairs? This is where there should have been huge cannon position with 120mm cannons. Should have been placed here. Instead, due to budgetary concerns, it turned into a position with 3 machine guns. Fixed, put in place with domes the Belgians already had from another project that had been cancelled. Quick, simple, easy machine guns in all directions. Below, an enormous staircase. Regular run-of-the-mill fixed machine gun. This looks bigger than the regular Maginot Line fort domes. Looks bigger than Eben Emael domes. How big is this thing? How heavy is this? This is bigger.
Yeah, it's normal. There is three types of turret. Eben Emael, who was near a neutral country, the Holland, has the minimum armored. He was built to resist to 280 millimeters. It's why, if you look a cupola like this, you have less armor all around.
Yeah.
If you will go to Baptiste, you will see all this part is full of armor. There is no...
It's much thicker.
Yeah. Because Aubin Château and Tancremont were built to resist to 420 millimeter shell, the grid better. Yeah. Baptiste, who was the nearest from the German border, was built to resist to 520 millimeter shell. It's why when we have 4.5 meters of reinforced concrete on the top of a building, there is 5.5 meters, 1 more meter of reinforced concrete in Baptiste. And here we have a cupola who weighs 120 tons, approximately. At Baptiste, it's 140 tons.
And this is retractable. This is 140 ton retractable.
Yes, no problem. And in case of electricity problem or motor problem, 4 soldiers could go up and down this turret of 120 tons with the manual system, with the emergency system. 4 soldiers. Because we have a counterweight of 30 tons and oh là là, dur à expliquer ça. Moving arms,
yes,
with 1 and 4. Like this, yeah. the 30 tons of the counterweight were enough to counter the weight of the 120 tons turret.
So I guess we need to get the motor running so we can run this.
We have very strong soldier in Tancremont.
It looks a little crooked.
It was fired when the turret was depressed.
Ooh, I've heard that story before. You would think that would be impossible. You would think there would be a safety measure. That's
No.
what happened at your fort too, wasn't it?
There was a system on the French 75 millimeters turret. They had a security, but we haven't. The first time the soldier, it was an accident, and the second time it was the mechanic who check if everything is all right.
Mm.
He do that.
So
Yeah.
was it lowered when he fired
Yes,
it?
yeah, the 2 times. And if you take the ladder inside the lower level of the turret, you could arrive here under the voussoir, and you could see the 2 impact of the shell.
And
You could see it here.
Did nobody
The
die
metal.
from that?
No,
Really?
no problem. Just a lot of noise, because there is a security on the fuse, and she doesn't blast. She
So
doesn't really
that's-
blast.
Of course, that's right.
They shoot, but the shell don't explode here.
That's probably fortunate.
And as you can see, the cupola for the machine gun were blocked in the reinforced concrete. It's why it's impossible to move, and you always shoot in the same area.
That way. Germany is not that way.
Germany,
It's that way.
Yeah.
So it is a rough possibility of a march
we
direction.
protect all around the fort.
You've got to have the angle of fire
360
from all positions
Yeah.
to cover every direction.
Of course. And,
And
well,
if you look on the ground, you could see the area of the shooting area of an automatic, of a machine gun. Because if you are here, you could see on the left, the ground is sloping and going up.
Yes.
It's the same on the right. It's because the army decide if a German soldier could shoot inside the cupola,
Yeah.
he must be in the area shooting of the machine gun, of our machine gun.
Yeah.
And a soldier who were here on the right can shoot here. The machine gun can shoot the soldier too, but
Yeah.
he was shooting by the machine gun of the Block 1.
What can the Germans? They fire. There's some indents. Are they 36? Or
No, they
88?
only use a machine gun and bombing in the middle of the fort, only in the middle. Why? Because we are the last four of the line. There is Aubin Château, there is Eben Emael, Aubin Château, Baptiste, Tancremont. We are the last. And the German realize we can't protect Baptiste in case of attack. It's why they only attack Tancremont one time, really one time, because they think, oh, Tancremont, it's not a great problem. We could see it after. Like this, we won't receive bomb from Stuka. But the problem is there is on the top of Spa an airplane, La Saufnière. And the German army use it just after the beginning of the war. And at this time there is no security of a bomb. Before the landing we take the security and it's finished. And before landing you must evacuate your bomb.
Yeah.
You must drop your bomb,
You have
sorry.
To, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And when you go bombing Liège, and when you go bombing the front, and after you want to return to Spa, where do you go? Upper Tancremont. And all the bomb who stay at the plane who must landing in Spa, drop their bomb here, because it's better for a pilot to put on his book, I bomb Tancremont fort, that I bomb the shield and killed the field, and killed 2 cow.
Yes.
And we receive all the bomb who stay to the plane who must landing in Spa. It's why we have sometime a bombing on the left, on the right, in the middle, but no bomb on the building because the pilots only want to landing and don't arrive here slowly at the good height, at the good axis, no problem. Oh, there is a fort, okay, boom, dropping my bomb and it's finished.
And you had no anti-aircraft weaponry out here.
We only have 8 anti-handcraft machine gun, Maxims machine gun, but the commander say at the beginning of the war, you enter inside the fort because it's too dangerous for you. There was only sends back to protect them, and that's all.
Yeah.
He said, no, it's impossible, you enter the fort. That's all.
All right.
To put concrete, rocks, tools, box, everything they could find all around. They arrived at 3 or 5 meters from the ground level.
So this is where they dropped everything in.
Yeah.
And then they bricked it up nicely afterwards. This was bricked up after the war, not
No.
right after.
Yeah. Nobody changed it. It's like in
May 10th.
1940.
So exactly 81 years ago, this is what it looked like. Except it probably a little bit more noisy out here.
Yeah. And a lot of trees.
And a lot of trees. At the end of hostilities, there was still the sign of chivalry that occurred so many times in the unknown at the beginning of World War II on the Western Front. This is an amazing place, and it is amazing that everything is still here. I cannot wait to bring you a lot more of these. Behind me is Vanna von Braun's first test stand. Down the road is Dietmar's nuclear reactor. Over there is the Maginot Line and all its amazing forts. I'm visiting them all and I'm bringing them to you. So I really appreciate you like, follow, and share what I'm doing, trying to document all these important historical locations. And if you feel like you want to watch more pictures or documents that I use for these, go to lostbattlefields.com. And if you feel like helping me out with my travels, because gasoline and travel and airfare is expensive, my PayPal is there, protectionserviceint.com. You are more than welcome, but you don't have to. I appreciate all your support and all your help, and I love seeing these locations, and I love bringing them to you.